Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel today. My name is Zoran Smake of EXP, coming to you from Bastrop, Texas. Hey, if you're a veteran with a VA rated disability, just like I am, and a homeowner, or know a veteran with one, this video is directed towards you, as I'm making it explicitly for you guys, because I'm in the same boat as you. Because what I'm going to be talking about is, and we'll be doing, is explaining property tax exemptions for VA disabled rated veterans. Now, being a Marine Corps tanker, for any of you 11 Bravos or your 03s, if you want me to go slower, I can do that for you. Just let me know in the comments, all right? I know how you grunts are. All right. Okay, now, before we begin, please subscribe to my channel, like and comment. It's just going to help the algorithms for people like you that are interested in VA related information or veteran related information, along with other real estate information. So that way you're able to see videos like this through YouTube. And I thank you so much for watching this video. And before we begin, for every transaction I do complete, as a buyer, as a seller, I donate 5 bags of dog food to the local animal shelter. So that's just a little bit of information for you. In today's video, we're talking about the property tax exemptions for disabled veterans in Texas, specifically the Homestead Exemption. Now, being a veteran, you won't automatically receive any veteran specific exemptions unless you are a disabled veteran. In that case, you may be eligible for a partial or a full tax exemption on the home that you occupy. Anyone receiving the disabled veteran exemption will also get the homestead exemption. Pretty good, huh? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now, Texas is the best or the most friendly state for the VA disability rated veterans. And Texas is also one of 16 states that offers full property tax exemptions for 100% VA rating. Fantastic. Come down to Texas. Come see me. Also, property taxes for veterans in Texas are locally assessed and administered by each individual county. What is a property tax exemption? Well, it's a reduction in the appraised value of your property, which in turn lowers the amount of property taxes you owe. Now, it's important to note that the property tax exemptions usually only apply to your primary residence and not to your secondary homes, vacation homes, or your investment properties, only to your primary residence. Next question is, what is the homestead exemption in Texas? All right, this exemption is going to allow you to remove a portion of your home's value from being taxed, ultimately reducing your property taxes. Now, here's a simple example. Now, if your home is appraised at $300,000 by the county and you qualify for $40,000 exemption mandated for school districts, you will only pay school property taxes on the home as if it were worth $260. 300 minus 40, $260. Now, since VA loans are typically for primary residences, most of the time someone getting a VA loan is also eligible for the homestead exemption. When can I file for the homestead exemption? Well, you no longer have to wait until January 1st to file. And you can file for the exemption immediately upon closing of your home. And make sure you update your driver's license for your new primary address. But, very important, you have 2 years to file before you lose the exemption. I'm guilty of it. I did not know, and I was not aware of it when I moved down to Texas. My realtor called me out of the blue and asked if I did it. And and she explained how to go about doing it with Dallas County, because I was living up in Dallas. The specific form you need to file is Form 50-114. It's the Residence Homestead Exemption Application. Don't worry, guys. I'll have it in the description down below with a link. That way, all I got to do is just click on it. It'll pop up, and you can fill it out. Once you submit this to the tax office, it'll go into effect as soon as they process it. It's going to only show up on your tax bill in October when the bills are mailed out. Guys, don't forget, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Let's go. You might be wondering how long the homestead exemption is valid for. Well, guys, You only need to file for it once, and it's going to remain on your property until it's no longer your primary residence. Now, if you shift to, you buy another home, you make that home your primary residence, that home that you are currently moving out of is no longer homestead exempted. It doesn't automatically move with you. You gotta, after you close on a new home, you gotta request a homestead exemption for that new property. Guys, if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. That way you can follow me and get updated. How much is a homestead exemption? Great question. I know you guys are thinking about it. Good job. All right. Currently, the homestead exemption is $40,000, meaning $40,000 will be taken off the appraised value of your home property before taxes are assessed for schools. So, for example, if the school tax for your property is 1%, the homestead exemption would roughly reduce your property tax bill by $400 per year, or about $33 per month. Hey guys, have you already subscribed? If not, do so. All right, let's continue on. What is the disabled veteran exemption? That's a good question you're thinking of. Now, with the VA disability rating through the VA, you can apply for this exemption in addition to the homestead exemption. You're going to need to use a form 50-135, which is the application for the disabled veteran or survivor's exemption. I'm going to have it down at the bottom in the description. It'll be linked. All you got to do is click on it, print it out, fill it out, whatever it is that you guys do. The amount of the exemption is going to vary based on your disability rating with the VA. So the higher the rating, the higher the exemption. Now, how much is the disabled veteran exemption? If you want to take a look at it a little bit longer, or you can just hit stop, pause, that way for you guys to take a look at it. This exemption is commonly misunderstood. I'm guilty of it. I did not understand it the first time around. Now, many people are going to assume that if 50% disabled veteran gets a $10,000 exemption, they will save 10 grand in property taxes. That's not the case. It's not true. The exemption, what it does is it leads to a reduction in taxes owed, but it's not going to be a huge savings. And it's also important to understand that the exemption is not a direct reduction of taxes, but rather a reduction in the assessed value prior to the tax rate being applied. Do I have to have a VA loan on my home to get this exemption? The answer is no. These exemptions are not dependent, so even if you own your home 100% free of any mortgage, you still qualify for these exemptions. It has nothing to do with any type of loan. None. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, VLB, nothing. None of them. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. All right, let's continue on. Oscar Mike. Now, what changes when you have 100% disability with the VA? Well, if you are 100%, you are eligible for this exemption. In fact, you're going to be fully exempt from property taxes in Texas on your primary residence only. Only your primary. How are tax exemptions considered by mortgage lenders? All right, first things first. If you're looking to claim any of the exemptions mentioned in this video, you're going to need to close on a new home and move into it and make it your primary residence before filing for them. Unfortunately, the homestead exemption and disabled veteran exemptions are not factored in at the time of closing. But here's where it gets interesting for 100% disabled veterans. If you agree to file for your 100% exemption after closing, some lenders may take the property taxes out of the mortgage payment. This means that as a 100% disabled veteran, you won't have to qualify with taxes. Now, not all lenders do this, but most of them do. It's definitely worth discussing with your lender to see if they offer this option. How are tax prorations accounted for at closing? Well, if you're at 100%, there won't be any property taxes held in escrow. Got it? This means that there won't be any funds set aside by the lender to pay the partial tax bill at the end of the year. So guess who's responsible for paying that bill? Yes, you. So partial tax bill at the end of the first year should be equal to or close to the seller's portion of the tax bill before the 100% exemption started. Hey, guys, don't worry. Those funds are going to be collected from the seller at closing and given to you as a credit towards your cash due at closing. And then you'll set those, hopefully you guys set those funds aside until the tax bill comes due and just pay for it then. This is where you set those funds aside until the tax bill comes due. Follow me? Tracking? Now let's address another common question. Why would a 100% disabled veteran have a tax bill? Well, here's the scenario. Say you close at a new home at the end of April. You move in, you file for your 100% exemption. You won't have to pay property taxes from that date you moved in. However, there will still be a property tax bill in October, but only for the first year. This bill accounts for the time when the seller owned the home from January 1st through your closing date. Okay? Tracking? Again, don't worry too much because at closing, the seller is going to credit you for those estimated property taxes. It falls upon you to pay that tax bill with those funds that were credited to you at the end of the year. Now, just remember, any overage or shortage is going to be up to you to reconcile with the seller. Got it? All right. Guys with me? Make sure you guys subscribe. Okay? How does a 100% exemption work for multi-unit properties? As a 100% rated veteran using a VA loan, now if you got a 4-unit property, the 100% exemption only applies to one of those 4 units if you are living there, because that's going to be your primary. Those 3 other units are going to be occupied by someone else. The 100% exemption only applies to the unit you're occupying as your primary. So if you buy a duplex, two units, you're only going to get 50% tax savings, not the full 100%, because you're only occupying the one. The other one's going to be occupied by someone else other than you. Another great question is going to be, what if you are the surviving spouse of a 100% disabled veteran? If your spouse was 100% disabled at the time of their passing, you may be eligible for the disabled veteran exemption. And there are a few requirements to keep in mind. You've got to be the surviving spouse. You must not have remarried. If you remarry, you lose it. The property must have been your primary residence at the time of your veteran's death, and it must remain your primary residence. Any questions? If you have any questions pertaining to this, go in the comments, knock it out there, and I'll get with you. Another question I get asked is, do veterans need to have a service-connected disability rating of 100% and be unemployable, not able to work to be eligible for this exemption? No. DV with a service-connected 100% compensation is eligible for this exemption if he or she is either 100% disabled or is unemployable. Is there a deadline for filing this exemption? Can you still file after the deadline has passed? Great question. The deadline for filing the exemption is April 30th. However, the tax code is going to allow the application for certain exemptions to be filed after the deadline has passed. Now, to receive the 100% disabled veteran exemption, you're going to have to file for the exemption up to 5 years after the delinquency date for taxes on the property. To file for this exemption, you have to complete the application for residence homestead exemption form. It's a PDF. Then you got to submit it to the appraisal district and where the property is located. I'll have the link again at the bottom. So all you got to do is click on it and fill it out, send it in, whatever it is you guys want to do with it, okay? If you have any questions, again, leave it in the comments. Another frequent question is, what happens to the exemption on the previous property of the 100% disabled veteran when they move to a different residence in the middle of a tax year? Well, if an exemption applied to a resident's homestead on January 1st ends during the year, tax is due on the homestead for the portion of the year after the date the exemption ends. If you need clarification, a little more detail, leave a comment in the bottom. I'll answer for you. I promise. When does the exemption start to apply to the new residents for the 100% rated veteran who moves in the middle of a tax year? Well, very simple. The exemption is going to start immediately when the veteran qualifies the new resident for the homestead. The tax due for that tax year is the amount due for the portion of the year before the exemption started. The form 50-114 residence homestead application is going to be PDF. There's going to be a link down at the bottom. It's got to be filled out with the appraisal district in which the new home is located. There you have it, guys. That's all the information I have for you today on disability rated veterans tax exemptions, okay? And I hope at the end of this video, I cleared up any confusion and helped you understand the process a little bit better. And if you haven't, go down to the comments, leave that question. I'll get to it as soon as I see it. Guys, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I want to say thank you so much for checking out this video. And if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. My email and my phone number is in the description. And tell me what y'all think and what you loved about this video. So comment below and I'll respond as soon as I can. Hope you have a fantastic week. And next week we'll have another video